We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:08 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We love those guys. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show. We're up and running on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We got Joan Jones in the newsroom. Sam Rutherford is producing until Mason gets in here to make the handoff. And then we'll have Mason doing what Mason does, generally being late to lightning.
I'm warming the seat for him.
I appreciate you doing so. He does tell me that it's oftentimes warm when he comes in.
It's the methane.
It's the methane.
Just stop.
That's disgusting.
Gosh.
That's a nasty one. We got a big day today. Tom Homan's already giving press conferences. There's going to be another Trump cabinet meeting, so that'll be the first one of 2026. We'll be keeping our eyes on that. And yesterday, after I got off the air, new video dropped from one Alex Pretti. You know, the guy that was just an ICU nurse that was looking out for his neighbors, didn't have a mean bone in his body. The guy that was just, gee whiz, so swell. Can't believe what happened to him happened. Yeah, well, we got new video of him. This video comes from the BBC. And the BBC exposed Alex Pretti. Now, the rest of us kind of knew what time it was when it came to Alex Pretti. Granted, there was some speculation in there. But we understood he was a member of Ice Watch. We understood that he was one of those radical leftists impeding and obstructing. And we're of the opinion that had he not impeded and obstructed, he'd be here alive today. I think his death is a tragedy. And I feel for his family. I do. But had he not made the choices he made, he would still be here. And that's kind of the stance that we took on this show. This new video drops from the BBC and completely co-signs the feelings that we had. BBC obtained footage of Alex Pretti. This is about a week ago. Or was it 13 days? Sorry, January 13th. January 13th is when this video footage came out. And it's one Alex Pretti hawking loogies on ICE agent vehicles and kicking out taillights. Yes, everything you thought about Alex Pretti was correct. He's not just a nurse. Just like Renee Good is not just a mom. He's an anti-ICE agitator. Is he paid? Might be. Might be. But the BBC dropped this clip yesterday and absolutely turned the left-wing narrative on its head.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him.
Now, if you aren't watching us on YouTube, you're not seeing the video in the background. A lot of people on the internet are theorizing that this is the incident where Alex Pretti broke his rib because he gets tackled by ICE agents. If you're listening on radio, the two loud smacks that you heard was Alex Pretti roundhouse kicking the taillight off of a Ford Explorer. Oh, it was a mostly peaceful roundhouse kick. Make no mistake about it. But again, left-wing propaganda is exposed. Alex Pretti wasn't just an ICU nurse. He was a violent agitator. Now confirmed. Renee Nicole Good wasn't just a mom dropping her kid off at school in the wrong place, wrong time. She was a violent agitator. How many times are people going to gobble up the lies of the left-wing mainstream media and say, thank you, sir. Can I have another after eating bowl after bowl of bovine scatology? It's just in their teeth. It's just all in there. And it's great. It's great, sir. Can I have some more? Now, I don't know how many leftists are going to be woken up by this video because I don't know how many mainstream media outlets are going to play this video. I don't see this on ABC or CBS or NBC. They did play it on CNN last night to their credit, but they said, this doesn't really change anything. This doesn't change. This changes nothing. Actually, it vindicates us. It tells us that what we originally thought about the incident was true, that our instincts did not deceive us, that he was a left-wing lunatic agitator, getting in the way where he shouldn't have been. Again, his death is still tragic, and make no mistake about it, but the way the media has been gushing over him. Anna Navarro the other night on the Abby Phillips show, did you hear what she said about Alex Pretti? I mean, just listen to this, and then in contrast, think about this lunatic hawking loogies on ICE agents and roundhouse kicking taillights. Okay, this is Anna Navarro the other night on the Abby Phillips show. Hold on, I got too much audio running in the background. This is Anna Navarro 2 nights ago.
They chose to, they killed the wrong guy, right? Because this is like the perfect guy. Alex Pretti is the guy you would want to date your daughter. The guy you would want your son to grow up to be, a decent human being who was serving humanity, serving sick veterans, who is, there is nothing that has been said about that man that isn't wonderful. And so they can't malign him.
What now? Actually, Anna, I don't know. Consider this a radical take. I don't want either of my daughters dating a man who is going to hawk loogies on federal agents and roundhouse kick taillights. Maybe that's controversial. And no, Anna, I don't want my sons to grow up to, for starters, to a nurse. You couldn't aim for doctor. I digress. But I don't want my sons to grow up and be assaulting federal agents and roundhouse kicking taillights and hawking loogies on those agents. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. He was doing this for humanity. Oh, the humanity. Will someone think of the rapists and murderers and gang members and child pedophiles? Who will think of them now that Alex Pretti isn't here with us to defend them anymore? It's insane. DHS is now actively investigating the footage from Alex Pretti violently attacking federal agents in Minnesota while armed 1 week before that fatal shooting. And I think that they do need to look into it. He's not peaceful. He was a militant. He was a rabid insurrectionist. He was everything they claimed that the J6ers were. He could still be here, and he should still be here. It's still a tragedy. It is, and I don't want that to get lost. But I just get a little bit infuriated when I get fed lie after lie by the mainstream media and leftists alike, who say he was a good boy and he didn't do nothing. He was a nurse. Okay. He just hawking mostly peaceful loogies. The family of Alex Pretti has retained lawyers who helped prosecute the George Floyd case. Of course, have you noticed a theme here? Anytime a leftist finds themselves in some hot water, they get shot, they get killed because of defensive actions from federal agents. They immediately go and retain the lawyers of George Floyd. Renee Nicole Good's family did the exact same thing. This development comes as that new footage appears to show Pretti spitting on federal officers and kicking their car last week. The parents of Pretti have retained Steve Schleicher, who served as a special prosecutor for Minnesota AG Keith Ellison, helping secure the conviction of Derek Chauvin, who did nothing wrong, by the way. Let me just Derek Chauvin did nothing wrong. George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. But the parents said, Pretti's family in a statement said, Alex was a kind-hearted soul who cared deeply for his friends and family, and also the American veterans whom he cared for as an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA hospital. Alex wanted to make a difference in this world. Unfortunately, he will not be with us to see his impact. I do not throw around the term hero lightly. However, his last thought and act was to protect a woman. Okay. It's big talk. Big talk. The women were also impeding and obstructing. And I'm sorry, in the land of equal rights in the year 2026, if females want to impede and obstruct ICE agents, they can get pepper sprayed too. You want to play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. That doesn't make you a hero for defending idiots. It doesn't. It lumps you in with them. And what did he get for his service? It sucks. He should have stayed out of it. He should have been home. Maybe he should have been at work. He was a hero. He was a hero. I don't know. Has Batman ever hawked loogies on federal agents? And he's probably roundhouse kicked a tail lighter too, to be fair. I'll be honest. He's probably done that. But he's a hero. Superman. He's basically Superman. It's just no cape. Not all heroes wear capes. Again, the video shows Alex Pretti hawking loogies and roundhouse kicking taillights off of ICE vehicles. And the family says he was a hero. Anna Navarro says he was the kind of guy that you'd want your daughters to date. The kind of guy that you'd want your sons to grow up to be. Okay. I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. Minnesota state and local police have now begun arresting a lot of these left-wing rioters that we've seen in the streets. They tried storming the hotel where ICE agents were staying a couple nights ago, and Tricia McLaughlin confirms that that's what they're doing. They're finally going after these rioters and these insurrectionists, and they're not just going to sit on their hands and take it anymore. This was DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin yesterday on Fox Business.
And President Trump had what looked like a very productive conversation where there was going to be more state and local cooperation from Minnesota officials. And we actually saw that play it out on the ground when there was rioters who were destroying a hotel in Minneapolis where they suspected our ICE and CBP officers were staying. And in that incident, state and local law enforcement were actually permitted to step in and made arrests of those rioters. That's what we're asking for. That's what this comes down to, Stuart, is that we want that state and local cooperation to allow us to take criminal legal aliens from the jails once they've served time, and so they're not re-let out back into Minnesota, back into the communities to re-perpetuate their crimes. And also, we're asking, and President Trump is asking for backup for our law enforcement when they are being assaulted or obstructed or other federal crimes against them.
It's good to see some arrests. It's good to see a bit more cooperation from Minnesota authorities. We'll talk more about the arrests that we saw, including the Bananas and Rice girl. Did you see the Bananas and Rice girl got arrested?
It was glorious.
Bananas and Rice. I'll be honest with you. I spent way too much time last night having fun with audio. There's an EDM song now called Bananas and Rice. And I took the liberty of adding the Bananas and Rice interview into the EDM song. I thought it was funny. My wife did not. Are you team Chris or team Virginia? I'll play that song on the other side. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Better Water LLC. If you are tired of weird smells coming out of your water, you are not alone. It was just the other week that we were like, man, it's starting to smell like sulfur in our water. And my wife said, well, you are an endorser for Better Water. Why don't you just call them? I was like, that is a great idea. This is why I keep you around. And so Better Water's coming out to my house on Thursday. And they're going to test my water for free. They can do the exact same thing for you. You might have some nasty stuff in your water. We're talking sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. I'm pretty sure that we got the sulfur. I'm praying we don't have any of the other stuff. But if we do, Better Water has a system for it. They're going to bring either a reverse osmosis machine, some specialized filters, maybe some UV lights. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I know that Better Water has me covered. They've been doing this for 55 years. This is a local company based right out of Smyrna. They serve all of Middle Tennessee. You've probably already tasted their work at the coffee shops and hospitals around town. These guys are pros. Their employees know exactly what they're doing. The average employee at Better Water has been with the company for 17 years. When I say they're pros, I mean it. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Get your water tested today for free. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or find them online, betterwater.com.
what NES has to say about why it's taking so long to restore power. Also, a year and a half ago, 2 planes nearly collided at BNA. Well, now the very same thing has just happened in Texas. It's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
In my Somali day, yeah. But harder from ice. Eating bananas and rice.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American. It's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you're eating bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean. You're gonna get banana and rice.
So she got arrested. so she got arrested. Her name is Nasra Ahmed. She's a Somali American who recently went viral online because of the press conference where she said being Somali American isn't just bananas and rice. It's actually a lot like bananas and rice. So she got arrested for assaulting ICE agents. Yeah, assaulting ICE agents. 16 others were also arrested yesterday by federal officials. This all sorts of charges from stalking, from harassing, impeding, obstructing, all the things. There is Attorney General Pam Bondi on the ground saying, "I'm here today in Minneapolis. Federal agents have arrested 16 Minnesota rioters for allegedly assaulting federal law enforcement officers, people who have been resisting and impeding our federal law enforcement agents." She said, "We expect more arrests to come. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Nothing will stop President Trump and this Department of Justice from enforcing the law." So Bananas and Rice Girl has been arrested. Tom Homan is also on the ground in Minnesota. He had a banger of a press conference this morning. We got all the highlights for you on the way. We'll play him after the headlines with Joan Jones right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Frustration growing, especially among the more than 100,000 NES customers and others in Nashville who question why it's taking so long to get their power back. NES Vice President Brent Baker saying it's partially because of safety precautions.
We are nonstop. We are going to onboard every day until we reach full capacity. The thing we have to do and remember is to keep everybody safe. The last thing we want is to have a line worker injured that would stop progress. If anybody gets hurt, progress will stop for an entire day until we figure out just what safety was. We have to keep everybody safe, and we're dedicated to that.
He also says they have at least 900 linemen and more than 200 vegetation crews clearing the way, the downed trees and the heavy ice. An announcement in the political world this morning.
I'm announcing my candidacy for governor of the state of Minnesota.
Senator Amy Klobuchar says she wants to replace Tim Walz in Minnesota.
Minnesota, we've been through a lot. A beloved leader and her husband murdered in their home, little kids gunned down in a church, the killings of Renee Good, a mom of 3,
and Alex Pretti, a nurse who took care of our veterans.
The Senate Democrat vowing to push back on the Trump administration. It was in September of 2024 that a Southwest Airlines plane and another one from Alaska Airlines nearly collided at Nashville International Airport when an air traffic controller cleared both planes for the same runway. Well, a similar scenario has happened again, and once again, it involved a Southwest Airlines flight.
4996. Things couldn't have been much more routine as San Antonio air traffic controllers directed Southwest Airlines Flight 4996.
Runway 22, clear for takeoff.
The Boeing 737 began its takeoff roll and was reportedly going 103 miles per hour when a single-engine prop plane mistakenly turned onto the runway in front of it. And the audio from liveatc.net caught what happened next.
Cancel takeoff clearance. Cancel takeoff clearance. Southwest.
The Southwest Airlines jet slowed to a stop. The FAA is investigating the incident. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. If you think you got to wait for open enrollment in October to get yourself some health insurance, that is wrong. That is what the big guys want you to think. That is not the reality. With Cover Nash, you can get covered today, right now, no waiting, no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment, no problem. You lost your job coverage, they got you covered. You're just sick of overpriced junk insurance? Who isn't? Shane Ring and Cover Nash are going to help you out. They partner with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, even for specialists, ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care, plans for individuals, families, self-employed folks, even small businesses. It's time to stop overpaying. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to stop thinking you're stuck. Call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. If you want health insurance on your term, not the government's, it's covernash.com. It's 9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to the show on iHeart, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us Super Talk TV. YouTube and Rumble are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. Tom Homan is in Minneapolis today. And listen, we're excited for Tom to be out there. Tom Homan's a beast. I've met him. He's just the aura around him is intimidating. Just full disclosure, and I can't imagine that Mayor Frey or Tim Walz wasn't intimidated by Tom Homan. And when Tom Homan says things are going to get done, well, they usually get done. Tom Homan had a press conference bright and early. He was bushy-tailed this morning, and he went through everything. Made it clear to Tim Walz and Mayor Frey that criminal illegal aliens will continue to be arrested and deported in the state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis.
Aliens that pose a public safety threat and national security threats, and the numbers prove it. The data proves it. In the past few days, I've met with Governor Walz, Attorney General Ellison, Mayor Frey, numerous police chiefs and sheriffs, and I have more to meet. I'll also be continuing the dialogue with business and religious leaders in partnership in Minnesota, your community leaders. I'll be meeting with them too because I want to hear what they have to say. In my meetings with folks so far, and most importantly, the governor and the AG, the Mayor Frey, we didn't agree on everything.
No, and we're not going to. But I don't expect the Democrats to agree on everything. I don't expect Tom Homan to go in there and receive no pushback at all. I mean, these are their neighbors we're talking about, right? It's their neighbors. But he did get some things agreed upon. Tom Homan announcing this morning. One of those things is not allowing public safety threats back on the streets.
Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals and endangers the residents of the community. To be clear, we did not agree with Minnesota state and local officials that they would be involved in immigration enforcement. I didn't ask them to be immigration officers. I'm asking them to be cops working with the cops to help us take criminal aliens off the street. What we did agree upon is not to release public safety arrests back in the community, and they could be lawfully transferred to ICE. I'll speak more about that. I will highlight that the Minnesota State Prison System under the Department of Corrections have been honoring ICE detainers. And we appreciate that important collaboration, and we're going to expand upon that. That decision has made Minnesota safer.
And hopefully, when they start allowing them in the Minneapolis jails, it makes Minneapolis a lot safer. Tom Homan confirmed that Minnesota county jails will now notify ICE when public safety threat illegal aliens are being released, and they can then be transferred to ICE agents. This is a big deal, and Tom Homan is already getting things done.
And he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon the release from the jail. And let me tell you why that's important. I know people are a lot concerned about the manpower has been set in law enforcement manpower. Look, I've said this many times before. I've said it for the last several years. Give us access to the illegal alien public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail. It's common sense. It's safer for the community, it's safer for the agent, and it's safer for the alien. Because anything can happen on a street arrest. It just makes common sense. And for the people that argue, well, we're a welcoming community because we want victims and witnesses of crime that are here illegally to feel safe to come to police without fear they're working with ICE, we're not going to talk to the victim and witness of crime. There's no problem there. They should feel safe to come to police and ask for help. All we want is to talk to the person, that local and state law enforcement authorities locked in a jail cell.
That should be common sense. That will lead to less operations in the streets. That will lead to less hostage or fugitive hunting of illegal aliens in the streets of Minneapolis and Minnesota. And this is a good thing. But people are going to be upset. People are going to be upset that Tom Homan is even talking with Tim Walz and Mayor Frey. And I'll be the first one to admit, I don't really enjoy it. I understand that there's a job to be done. I'd rather see both of them in some handcuffs for impeding and obstructing the rhetoric that we've seen. I think that they're insurrectionists. But Tom Homan said you got to work with them. And this is one of the points that he made during the press conference this morning. Whether you like it or not, we're going to have to work with some Democrats, okay? And you're going to need their help to fix the issues in Minnesota. How much help are they going to be? The answer to that question remains unclear.
And most important, the governor and the AG, the Mayor Frey, we didn't agree on everything. I didn't expect to agree on anything. I've heard many people want to know why we're talking to people who they don't consider friends to the administration. Bottom line is you can't fix problems if you don't have discussions. I didn't come to Minnesota for photo ops or headlines. You haven't seen me. I came here to seek solutions, and that's what we're going to do. And we've come a long way, and we got some good wins for the people of Minnesota, I think, and for the administration and for the safety security of this city. One thing we did agree on, though, everybody I talked to agreed on, was that community safety is paramount. One thing we all agreed on was U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement is a legitimate law enforcement agency that has a duty to enforce the laws enacted by Congress and keep this community safe. Like I've said many times for the last several years, even before this administration, jurisdictions that refuse to cooperate with federal immigration authorities are sanctuaries for criminals.
Facts. And everybody knows it. You know it, I know it, even the liberals on some level understand that if you're a sanctuary city, you are only a sanctuary for criminals. Tom Homan is putting his foot down in Minnesota. He doesn't seem like he's coming in angry. He doesn't seem like he's coming in guns blazing, but he's coming in to do work. And Tom Homan is going to get some jobs done. One thing that he said is causing a little bit of heartburn online. He did confirm a drawdown of ICE and CBP in Minnesota. But he makes the case as to why. And we've seen the violent, radical, leftist lunatics in the streets. And one of the reasons for the surge in federal agents was because you had to watch their six. We couldn't leave agents out there to do enforcement operations and then have radical leftist lunatics trying to assault and hurt or even worse, kill them when they're not paying attention. So they had to surge the area to keep those agents doing the enforcement operations safe. And now that we're having access to the jails and there's going to be less street enforcement operations, Tom Homan says that that's the reason why you're going to see a drawdown of ICE and CBP. People might frame this as the Trump administration chickening out, backing down. I don't see it that way at all. In fact, we've made the case on this radio station and on this show many, many times that the street enforcement operations would not be necessary if you'd allow us in the jails.
This is common sense cooperation that allows us to draw down on the number of people we have here. Yes, I said it. Draw down the number of people here. Because we have the efficiency and safety of the jails and the prison.
And remember, the agents are unsafe on the streets, not because of the illegal aliens per se, but because of the radical leftist lunatics and the radical leftist lunatics that have been ginned up by Democratic rhetoric, calling the ICE agents Nazis, calling them the Gestapo, saying that they're disappearing people in the streets, that they're murdering people, all of the propaganda, all of the spin, all of the narrative that you've already heard. Tom Homan says he's been begging for the rhetoric to stop for the last 2 months. And he has. We've played those clips on this radio station.
Again, with the agreements we've achieved and following through the agreements with the rhetoric dropping down, that allows us to pull more agents out once we feel the environment's safer. I begged for the last 2 months on TV for the rhetoric to stop. I said in March, if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. And there has been. I wish I wasn't right. I don't want to see anybody die. Not officers, not members of the community, and not the targets of our operations. For the people out there who don't like what ICE is doing, if you want certain laws reformed, then take it up with Congress. Again, ICE is making this up. They're enforcing laws enacted by Congress and signed by the president. The same laws have been on the books for the last 6 presidents I worked for. I started with President Reagan and ending with President Trump. Every administration, we enforce the same laws. If you don't like what ICE is doing, instead of protesting this building, go protest Congress. Tell me what changes.
I mean, exactly. But it's not about the laws, right? It's not about enforcing immigration operations. It's always been and still remains about opposing Trump. Trump wants this done. Oh, the mandate, and they're fighting against that. At the end of the day, nobody gave a damn when Tom Homan was working for Barack Obama. Nobody cared when Bill Clinton was saying we can't have these illegal aliens here. Nobody had an issue with even Joe Biden as vice president denouncing illegal immigration. The problem only arose when Donald Trump brought it up because of the TDS and the woke mind virus in the public. And that TDS, that woke mind virus broke a lot of folks. And you can see them as they're hurling obscenities and just foaming at the mouth, frothing violently whenever they see ICE agents in the streets. This didn't happen before. And it's not happening because of Tom Homan or Kristi Noem or Stephen Miller. It's happening because of Donald Trump. It's happening because Orange Man bad. And that's why you saw a massive deployment in places like Minneapolis. They didn't let their police take control of the leftist rioters, so they needed to ensure their own safety, Tom Homan confirms.
Who made the decisions to allow this kind of operation to proceed in this way and to create such fear?
Well, look, the Border Patrol, in the last 4 years under Joe Biden, we had an open border where 10, 12,000 people a day are coming across the border. Border Patrol got overwhelmed, which means we sent thousands of ICE agents down there to help deal with that humanitarian crisis, help secure the border. Now we have millions of people released in this nation, many unvetted. Now we got to find them.
Yep.
Before the big, beautiful bill, we had a total just under 5,000 deportation officers to look for millions of people, many in public safety threats. So yes, we needed Border Patrol to come and help on our mission now. And reason for the massive deployment is because of the threats, because of the violence. Our officers need to be protected. If I'm on an operation, an arrest team, I'm going to a house, I got to be busy with that guy, the dangerous guy, and I can't keep looking over my shoulder at what's happening outside the house. So we brought extra resources in to provide that security. And as I said, as we drill down on these great agreements we got and this great understanding we have means less. So we can draw down those resources. When the violence decreases, we can draw down those resources. But based on the discussions I've had with the governor and the AG, we can start drawing down those resources as far as those looking for public safety threats being released and do it in the jail with much less people. So the drawdown is going to happen.
It does annoy me though, even the leftist spin in the question. I feel like it was there. I feel like the guy was trying to go for a gotcha. Why is it the sudden surge? And it's like, dude, do you not remember what happened in Dallas, Texas, when the radical leftists climbed to the top of the building and started firing bullets at ICE agents? Do you not remember the ambush at the Prairieland facility? You don't think that that's within the realm of possibility in Minneapolis? Yes, that's exactly the reason why there was a surge. And there was a surge because your elected officials in this state of Minnesota weren't doing a damn thing about the violent, frothing at the mouth leftists that were chasing ICE agents and still are, mind you, around everywhere in that city. I don't think that those leftists are going to stop. I think the enforcement operations are going to change. And I think, like with what we saw yesterday, more charges coming in for those left-wing rioters at the hotels. We're going to see more charges for left-wing rioters in Minnesota. I think that's a good thing. But it doesn't mean the operations are going to cease to exist. The signal chats, the ICE watch, that is still going to continue. We do need a good presence in Minnesota to keep those officers and agents safe. Getting them into the jail cells is absolutely going to make the operation a bit safer. But it's the rhetoric that is getting these individuals ginned up. And then the Democrats whine and complain and moan. Tom Homan had a message for the Democrats. I think I got time for this one, and then we'll hit the break. This was Tom Homan on the Democrats.
I also want to remember the politicians are continually attacking us. Where were they the last 4 years when the number of women and children sex trafficking went all-time high? Where were they when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across the border? Where were they when women and children are dying making that journey? Where were they where over 4,000 aliens making that journey died, historic record? Where were they? Not a word. Now we're just trying to respond to what happened the last 4 years and keeping this country safe. And we're arresting a lot of public safety threats, take them off the streets, which make this country safer. President Trump promised to make this country safe again, and that's what we're doing.
I love the way he calls out those Democrats. Where were you the last 4 years? You're worried about safety. You're worried about the neighbors. You're worried about the community. Where were you when Laken Riley was being raped and murdered, or Jocelyn Nungary's body was being left in a ravine, or Rachel Marin? I mean, we can go on and on and on. You had nothing to say. Oh, no, wait, they did have something to say. They told us the border was secure. That's what they said. I'm excited about Tom Homan in Minnesota. I think he's going to do a great job. I pray that he does, and I pray for the safety of the agents that are out there and also the people in the streets. I hope it stays as peaceful as possible. It's 9:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 W.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and we're at 26 degrees right now in the Nashville area. Frustration among thousands of Middle Tennesseans without electricity is growing. Here's Channel 4's Jeremy Finley.
So I am in the Cherokee Park neighborhood. This is in the west side of Nashville, just off of West End and Harding. So this neighborhood is split. This side of the street, they've got power. This side of the street, they don't have power. And let me show you why. So you can see lying across the driveway there, that's the down power line. And we're finding this happening all over Nashville.
NES says it had at least 900 line crews working to restore power yesterday and today, and they plan to increase the crews as they become available, but they're not giving a timeline for full restoration just yet. Now, the outage numbers are still pretty high. NES still says 93,000, Tri-County Electric 7,300, Dixon Electric 2,800, Cumberland Electric 2,300, Middle Tennessee Electric had only 4 outages. Some folks in Davidson County are still unable to buy gasoline right now. Here's WSMV4's Joylyn Bukovac.
We know that there is fuel available according to AAA, but the problem is due to the icy roads and power outages, it's making it tough for delivery drivers to get to Nashville.
She says some stations still don't have power, so even if there is gasoline, the pumps aren't functioning. Some people who decided to ride out the electric outages at the In-Town Suites extended stay in Murfreesboro are now out in the cold. A sprinkler pipe burst and flooded out some of the suites, and the hotel had to shut down. This man spoke to Channel 4.
We spent over $400 in groceries, and it's in our refrigerator over there. And there's no power. So now we're going to be without food. And with the ice storm that hit, there's no motels available, and it's hard to find a room. So we don't know what we're going to do.
The In-Town Suite says they're working to help people go to a Salvation Army shelter, but some of those folks tell Channel 4 they don't want to go to a shelter. Georgia election officials say they had no idea the FBI was about to raid the Fulton County election headquarters yesterday. Roughly 25 FBI agents carried away tons of documents.
The search warrant obtained by ABC affiliate WSB-TV says agents are investigating possible violations of a federal law prohibiting the fraudulent procurement, casting, or tabulation of ballots. An FBI affidavit laying out probable cause for the search has not been made public. It's been more than 5 years, and Joe Biden's victory in Georgia was validated by recounts and audits. But President Trump has continued to argue there was fraud. And last week in his speech at Davos, he said, people will soon be prosecuted.
Now, stocks at this moment are down this morning on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial is losing 303 right now. The NASDAQ is down 601. S&P 500 index losing 100 points. That's the latest news. We've got weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We love those guys. You can find us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial, Super Talk TV, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We got a lot to get to, and there's never enough time to do it all. And I see everybody in the text line. They want me to play the Bananas and Rice song again. We'll get to that later. I promise. We'll do it again during the lightning round. Cool. I also want to see if I can edit that video that we were talking about. There's a hilarious meme that I sent to way too many people last night that we're going to try and get it ready to go. And we'll have it for the lightning round as well. In the meantime, did you see Marco Rubio yesterday?
Dude,
what an absolute beast. This is one of the things that's tough about this time slot is like stuff is happening and it's happening in real time. And like we could jump in and play it, but then we don't really have time to digest it and give it the proper context ourselves. So it's like, okay, let's wait and we'll do it tomorrow. And that's kind of the route we went yesterday with the Marco Rubio stuff. Rubio essentially, and I don't know, let me summarize this for you. Rubio essentially just pummeled Democrats and Rand Paul for a few hours, viciously beating them every chance he got. He was in there for a hearing on Venezuela. Maybe you've heard of it. Maduro, we took him out. And Rubio just spent the entire time calm, cool, collected, and absolutely shutting these lefties down. It was a very entertaining hearing, and I watched it yesterday after I'd gotten home. You should watch it in its entirety as well, but I got the highlights for you. Let's start with this. Why did we go into Venezuela? Well, we can't have our enemies operating in our hemisphere. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Goal going in, we had in our hemisphere a regime operated by an indicted narco trafficker that became a base of operation for virtually every competitor, adversary, and enemy in the world. It was, for Iran, their primary spot of operation in the Western Hemisphere was Venezuela. For Russia, their primary base of operation in the Western Hemisphere, along Cuba and Nicaragua, was Venezuela. In the case of China, China was receiving oil at a huge, about $20 a barrel discount. And they weren't even paying money for it. It was being used to pay down debt that they were owed. This is the oil of the people of Venezuela, and it was being given to the Chinese as barter at a $20 discount per barrel in some cases. And so you had basically three of our primary opponents in the world operating from our hemisphere from that spot. It was also a place where you had a narco trafficking regime that openly cooperated with the FARC and the ELN and other drug trafficking organizations using their national territory. It was an enormous strategic risk for the United States, not halfway around the world, not in another continent, but in the hemisphere in which we all live. And it was having dramatic impacts on us, but also on Colombia and on the Caribbean basin and all sorts of other places. It was an untenable situation, and it had to be addressed. And it was addressed. And now the question becomes what happens moving forward. As I've described to you in previous settings and in individual conversations, we had three objectives here. The final, I'll work it backwards because the end state here is we want to reach a phase of transition where we are left with a friendly, stable, prosperous Venezuela.
Everybody wants that. It would be better for the entire hemisphere. It would be better for the entire world. And Lord willing, they're on their way to that. Marco Rubio says that's the ultimate goal. Also, as I'm sitting here listening to Rubio talk about taking Maduro out, I do find myself reminiscing on direct energy weapons and how badass that operation was, where they just rappelled down and hit those guys with laser beams, and then they started vomiting blood and bleeding out the nose and ears and were incapacitated. Unbelievable display of strength by the United States military, and the coordination that was done at the highest of levels between the Department of War, the State Department, and the President of the United States, unprecedented. But the Democrats were still mad. The Democrats were still upset. We didn't lose any lives. We didn't lose any equipment. This wasn't a Joe Biden Afghanistan pullout. This was a unbelievably well-executed operation. But the Democrats didn't like it because, well, Trump was the reason that the operation was executed. And they want to know why we didn't just talk to Nicolas Maduro.
We made multiple attempts to get Maduro to leave voluntarily and to avoid all of this because we understood that he was an impediment to progress. You couldn't make a deal with this guy. Okay, this guy has made multiple deals. He's broken every one of them. As a point of example, he made a deal with the Biden administration, and here was the deal that he made. It was a bad deal. We knew he wouldn't keep it. He made the following deal. Pardon my nephews, his nephews, who are convicted narco traffickers, convicted already and serving time in jail. Pardon them. Pardon and release Alex Saab, who was his money man, his bag man, primarily in charge of the portfolio with Iran. Release these people. He, in turn, agreed to release some political prisoners, which he did. Many of them were subsequently exiled or rearrested, and that he would hold free and fair elections, which he did not. In fact, he basically disqualified Maria Corina Machado and any other candidate, and Edmundo Gonzalez ends up being the nominee for the opposition party simply because they forgot to ban him. And they forgot to put him on the ban list. And then despite that, he loses an election that everyone around the world recognizes an illegitimate election. So he's made previous deals. In fact, he's broken so many deals, not even the Vatican has been willing to interact with Maduro in the past because he's broken so many of these deals. He's just simply not a guy you can make a deal with. He had no intent of keeping it. What he wanted to do was tap us along and buy 3 years of time until he could deal with a new administration that he thought may be more favorable, et cetera. He was an impediment to progress. None of the things we're talking about now, not the release of political prisoners, not the transition of the oil industry to a legitimate oil industry, not the erosion of Iranian, Russian, or Chinese influence. None of these things would have been possible as long as Maduro was there.
And Rubio is absolutely right. You could hear a pin drop in the room as Rubio is breaking things down very clearly, very, very definitive. And he got a lot of opposition from the Democrats that were there, and he got opposition from one Republican. The Republican was Rand Paul. We've heard him yelling about Venezuela a lot. Marco Rubio took maybe 10 seconds before completely shutting Rand Paul down. This is that exchange.
But it is, and let's vote on these things. But I think we're in violation of both the spirit and the law of the Constitution by bombing a capital, blockading a country, and removing elected officials. And we certainly wouldn't tolerate it, nor would I if someone did it to us.
Well, we didn't remove an elected official. We removed someone who was not elected, and it was actually an indicted drug trafficker in the United States, and their system.
Our laws, indicted under our laws. Look, Bolsonaro says that Da Silva is not really the president of Brazil. Our president said Biden wasn't really the president. Hillary Clinton said in 2016 Trump wasn't the president. So you have these arguments, and I agree with you. It probably was, and most likely was, most assuredly was a bad election. He wasn't really elected. But at the same time, if that's our predicate, and you don't have to come to us because it's a drug bust, we're just removing somebody, you can see where it leads to, and it leads to chaos. And that's why we have rules like the Constitution, so we don't get so far out there that presidents can do whatever they want.
I'm having an issue seeing the chaos that Rand Paul is discussing that these things lead to, because I haven't seen any chaos after the Venezuelan operation. Quite the contrary. It's been rather quiet, a lot more quiet than I expected. But Marco Rubio, within 10 seconds of being asked the question, said we didn't take out a duly elected official. We took out a narco terrorist. It's mic drop. Oh well, I agree. I do. But it's like, okay, got it. Everybody wants everything done immediately. They want Venezuela to be free, prosperous today. Marco Rubio says these things, they take time.
That were taken or lost and engaged themselves in both civic and economic life. But again, I remind everybody, on Friday will mark the 4 weeks since this happened. I get it. We all want like something immediately, but this is not a frozen dinner you put in a microwave and in 2.5 minutes it comes out ready to eat. And these are complex things, and we've seen this play out. I've used the example of Paraguay and Spain. There are others where there's a transition from autocracy to democracy. It's not linear. It's, in some cases, there are ups and downs along the way, but it's trending in the right direction so far, with the recognition that more work needs to be done.
Thanks for your hard work. Marco Rubio just putting on an absolute masterclass. Again, we're airing the highlights, but the juicy moments were when the Democrats were trying to attack him and attack the administration. This is Tammy Duckworth. She kept interrupting Marco Rubio. J.D. Vance even took note of it on Twitter, saying, watching Tammy Duckworth obsessively interrupt Marco Rubio during this hearing is like watching Forrest Gump argue with Isaac Newton. This is a gem. She's a gem.
Seeing what's in the realm of the Department of State.
Well, you
I think your questions are better directed to the Department of
Alien
Justice.
Enemies Act,
But I would tell you
which is
that
a wartime, which is something that
Yeah, but you're asking me a
court
question
said
that's-
can be invoked during
All right, but
wartime.
you're
And it's
asking
only
me a
been
question
invoked
that's
during the
more
War of
appro-
1812, World War I, and World War II.
You're
it's only
asking
been
me a
invoked 3
question-
times, and this president is invoking it.
Okay, you're asking me a question about the domestic application of a law that's best directed
not
to the
a
Department of
complication.
Justice.
It's
no,
not a
it is
complication. It's
because you're
very
asking me
simple.
something to opine on something that's in the realm of the Department of Justice in terms of its domestic application. I can tell you that the United States is most certainly confronting terrorist and criminal organizations operating in our hemisphere that pose a grave danger to the United States. Anyone who believes that gangs that flood our country with fentanyl
right,
or
let me
cocaine
ask you
are
this.
not threats to the United States is not living in reality and certainly does not reflect the opinion of most Americans.
The president already said that he was ready to put American troops in Venezuela again. So we're
It's just the Democrats don't really want to listen. They want to grandstand and they want to get the clicks for social media. I don't blame them. I mean, that's what they have going for them right now. Cory Booker also attempted a gotcha on Marco Rubio. Rubio quickly diffused
are running
it.
around suppressing voting here, that these armed militias are running around suppressing voices. We have an administration that has said very clearly that they're not only going to be lifting temporary protective status for Venezuelans living in the U.S., but instead of protecting longtime American residents, they are, quote, the administration is putting people back on deportation flights and sending them into that madness. Does that make sense to you?
Well, first of all, the travel advisories for American citizens traveling there and the threats posed to Americans. What you're describing
Why lift temporary protective status?
Well, the problem with temporary protective status was it was granted to so many people in such a vast numbers so quickly without proper vetting by the previous administration that there's a real concern that there were gang members that had received TPS simply because of the nation they came from and the time in which they came. It became so big and so massive. The overwhelming majority of Venezuelans are not members of Trained at Agua, but there were Trained at Agua and other criminal elements embedded in the TPS system. And the numbers were so large that the administration felt it had to cancel the program in order to appropriately vet it through on the individual cases.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, this might not surprise you. I don't trust this administration. And the way they use terms like terrorist, I've seen them calling American citizens domestic terrorists who are people trying to peacefully protest.
Yeah, peacefully protest with a car aimed directly at an ICE agent. Yeah, got it. Cory Booker doesn't trust the administration. Cory Booker quickly changed the subject because he was completely shut down because of the open border of Joe Biden, the temporary protected status of Venezuelans, the Tren de Aragua gang members that were taking over apartment complexes. He knows. Cory Booker might pretend to be dumb, but he's not that dumb. And he knew that Rubio owned him, and he quickly changes the course of action. Tim Kaine also got roasted over the last president as well. He brought up Donald Trump's dementia. Of course, his mental faculties are waning. You've heard this. And Tim Kaine said, "Oh, did you hear Donald Trump call Greenland Iceland?"
Speech in Davos. Here's something the president said in Davos. "I'm helping NATO until the last few days when I told them about Iceland. They loved me. They're not here for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. Our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland, so Iceland has already cost us a lot of money." President repeatedly mistook Iceland for Greenland, right? We're not mad at Iceland. They haven't cost us any money. The president just mistook the two countries for each other, correct?
Yeah, he meant to say Greenland, but I think we're all familiar with presidents that have verbal stumbles. We've had presidents like that before. Some made a lot more than this one.
Nice try. Thanks.
Okay. Marco Rubio, a lot of people in the administration say that he is low-key one of the funniest cabinet members in the Trump administration. We're waiting. There is going to be another cabinet meeting today. It's going to be the first of the year, and we'll bring you the highlights as those come out. But we'll close with this. This is just a little compilation of all the Rubio Democrat owns from yesterday at that hearing. This is it's so good. It's so good. Listen to this.
Will you make a public commitment today to rule out U.S. regime change in Cuba?
Regime change?
Yes.
Oh, no, I think we would love to see the regime there change.
The president just mistook the two countries for each other, correct?
Yeah, he meant to say Greenland, but I think we're all familiar with presidents that have verbal stumbles. We've had presidents like that before. Some made a lot more than this one.
bombing a capital, blockading a country, and removing elected officials.
We didn't remove an elected official. We removed someone who was not elected, and it was actually an indicted drug trafficker in the United States.
Are you the lead for U.S. government on foreign policy?
No. The lead on U.S. foreign policy is named Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States.
We have not received any information on the Board of Peace. Do you commit to informing us about what the heck this is?
Yeah, it's a Board of Peace.
What is your criteria for returning to a military option and putting boots on?
Well, I don't recall the president saying he was going to put troops in Venezuela. Where did he say that?
I'm asking you, what are your...
But that's what you said. I didn't remember
the president has already said that he was ready to put American troops in Venezuela.
No, I think the president has said that he retains the right as commander-in-chief to protect the United States against any imminent threats. Maybe that involves troops, maybe that involves air power. We hope, but we don't anticipate that being the case in Venezuela.
There's been another hike in the number of deaths related to our winter storm. Also, restoring power is ongoing, and we've got the latest on what's happening there. It's coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Mason Fleming is producing, working those phone lines, 615-737-9986. He does a good job getting all the callers lined up. We're going to take a few of your phone calls. Also on the way, Fulton County, Georgia officials are going to speak after the FBI has seized 2020 election ballots. This is a big story, but there's not a lot of information on it yet. If this press conference kicks off, we'll try and cover it live because this is a big deal. But in the meantime, I want to get some guys on the air. Let's go to Chris in the borough. What's up, Chris? How are you?
Hey, how are you, Chris?
I'm good, man.
Just taking the call. Look, I'm a big fan of both Rubio and with Rand Paul. I think those guys are strong and level-headed in a lot of ways, and I feel like sort of your response, and even Rubio's response, sort of missed the point Rand Paul is making, and that is that, for an individual president, any president, I'm not talking about just Trump, I'm talking about any president that comes after Trump, to go into a country and just remove the leader of that country, whether they're elected or not, is a very, very, you're treading on dangerous ground there. And I think that's the point he's trying to make.
I mean, I understand that, but I just think that the Maduro issue was bipartisan, right? Like, Biden had a bounty on him, Trump had a bounty on him, nobody liked him, and it wasn't an issue until Trump got him. And I think that it's...
A bounty is a different thing, though.
But you're
it's not just a bounty.
But I think the knee-jerk reaction is anti-Trump, and not necessarily Rand Paul, because I don't think he's necessarily anti-Trump. But the operation was a massive success. You now have Venezuela working with us. Granted, we have hindsight being 2020, but I just have I have a hard time understanding why Rand Paul is still so upset about this.
Well, I mean, okay, just flip it. Just flip it around. What if a president, let's say Trump, let's say any president, whether we like him or not, if they're a president, any president is convicted of a crime in another country, and that country comes in, kills 5,000 people, takes him, and then holds him in trial in that country. How would that be perceived? Right? I mean,
well, I think my question would be what's the crime, for starters? I mean, because
it doesn't matter what the crime is. I mean, if Iran says convicted our president of some weird crime, it doesn't matter what their laws are.
Well, but that's exactly
I'm not saying Maduro's not guilty. He's absolutely guilty.
But that's exactly why it would matter. If it was a country like Iran lobbying some weird rando charge and then coming in and doing it, yeah, that's an issue. But the
point is, you're opening a window that other people's going to walk through that causes it to be an issue down the road that is very difficult.
I mean,
for one person, that's why you need a group of people to make this decision.
Yeah, but if it's secret,
you have to keep it secret. I get it.
The case that they made is that if they had gone for approval and gone for the questions, they would have either missed their window or the operation would have leaked. Rubio made the point that the operation did in fact leak, and they're grateful it didn't get to the papers in time, so that way it didn't make the operation less safe.
But the point is that you're missing, and I think that Rubio is sort of, he gets it, but he's trying to sort of cover for it, and that's his job. I understand that, and I appreciate him for being so competent in his job. But I feel like by just blindly supporting this without really scratching your head and go, I feel like we're kind of dodging a bullet here. We need to really address whether this is something we should have done or should do in the future. I feel like that debate needs to happen, not just get shut down.
I mean, the should we do it in the future? I mean, like, that debate is probably going to come up, and we'll talk about it when it does. But I think with the hindsight that we have, though, that operation was flawless. The Venezuela is going to be in a better position because of it. The United States is going to be in a better position because of it. We're already seeing some of the fruits of that operation. And again, you can't have
imperialism. I thought we were against imperialism. Are we not?
Yeah, but it's our hemisphere, and you can't have Russia and China and Iran in that sandbox.
Imperialist here.
Nah, not necessarily.
I don't understand why this is supported. How is it not?
Because we're not taking over the country. We're not going to run the country. The country is going to be sovereign and run it themselves.
Yeah, but to say this is our hemisphere, stay out of our hemisphere. I mean, I understand that.
I mean, would you prefer China
we
and
don't
Russia?
want Russia. We don't want
Would
Russia
you-
and Cuba, right?
Yeah, but
we don't want that.
But okay,
We don't want China there either.
well then this move was a great move in defense of that, because now Cuba's getting strangled out on the oil as well.
But it undermines who we are as America. Is the point? I thought we're pro-America.
I
American
disagree.
values.
I think it's America first, and if you have China and Russia,
I'm all for America first. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
but if you have,
this undermines our morals. This undermines what we stand on.
I mean, I just disagree, and I see where you're coming from, but I'm operating from a place of hindsight, right? With the operation being as flawless as it was, with the geopolitical ramifications.
Great. I mean, I get it, but I mean, what if we went in and took Xi Jinping, right? What if a president decides to go in and takes the basically the emperor of China? Well, he's not duly elected either. We all know how that goes. I mean, you could take that same approach and go, hey, that's not a smart thing to start trying to do, right?
I don't know. Now that you mention it, maybe Xi Jinping does need to be next. Chris, I appreciate the call.
I would love if he wasn't.
Hey man, I appreciate the call, but
I would love it if he wasn't the guy. But still,
I'm up against it, man.
We got debate needs to happen.
Yeah, all right. Hey, I hear you, man, and I appreciate your call, Chris. And we'll take more of your calls on the other side. I got a lot of people lined up and waiting. 1032 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The number of storm-related deaths in Tennessee has grown again. TEMA reporting just this morning that 13 people have now died. One of those deaths attributed to carbon monoxide poisoning. Meantime, the effort to restore power is ongoing. Here's Channel 4's Jeremy Finley.
We're also hearing about what's called nesting outages. That's what NES is calling it. I've never heard about this before, but this is a new term. That's essentially when one neighbor cannot have power, but everybody else does. Essentially, the power to the line has been returned, but there's problems further down that line that can cause problems for that single customer.
Now, Finley advises if your power is still out, report it repeatedly to your power company. The National Guard now on its way to Nashville to help with the cleanup. Mayor Freddie O'Connell making that announcement yesterday. Also, the Guard is going to do some other hard-hit areas as well.
We know the National Guard is now in Hickman County to help with storm recovery. Members of the 134th Civil Engineer Squadron are bringing debris clearing equipment right now. They're trying to help all these neighbors clean up and get back on their feet.
Channel 4's Holly Thompson. Now we're hearing that the mayor of Perry County has also formally requested activation of the Tennessee National Guard. President Trump is holding a cabinet meeting at the White House. It was supposed to have begun about a half hour ago. One issue sure to be addressed, rumors that a deal has been reached that would avert a government shutdown at midnight tomorrow. That is the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Game table and be this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your local store. Football and King's irresistible Hawaiian sliders. There's nothing like it.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Do I need to tell you that winter is here? I feel like you're smart enough to kind of wrap your head around that one. And you're probably smart enough to know if your HVAC system is running the way it should be. With the temperatures plummeting and the stress on your system, is it working as well as it should? If it's not, and you need a new HVAC unit, you need to call my guys at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They're making it easy to stay warm and worry-free. 0% financing right now for 18 months on a brand new HVAC system, a complimentary UV light with any new system install, and a free 5-year labor upgrade. That's a $750 value. Maybe you're good on the HVAC, you got some plumbing needs. Same 0% financing, plus a free 50-gallon home water heater with select repipes, or $600 off if that doesn't apply. You've been stuck in the house for a few days. The air smelling a little funky. Do you need some indoor air quality improvement? Take 15% off UV lights when you book a premium duct cleaning. And all month long, buy one Beehive Club membership, get one for free. Call my guys today, 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
And we've maintained from the very beginning that the American people just deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to the Epstein files.
Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein.
We believe in transparency. We believe in accountability. We believe in due process. And let me be very clear about Stacey Plaskett. She's a woman of great intelligence and a woman of great integrity.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was sharing information with me.
They've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing.
One thing he's clearly doing is changing the subject from a different form of crime, which is child sex trafficking, which Jeffrey Epstein was a mastermind of.
I have a feeling we're going to learn about how deeply tied into the left Epstein really was. Stay cold.
Listening to the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 10:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I definitely want to talk about what's going on in Georgia, the 2020 election, the FBI seizing some ballots. It's a wild story, but before we get to that, I got quite a few people waiting on the line that want to jump in and have a conversation. We're always open to the convo. 615-737-9986. Let's go with Michael in Nashville real quick. What's up, Mike? How we doing, man? Michael, did he hang up on us?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man? How are you doing?
All right. All right, how's it going, bro?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, man. I just calling in. I see everybody's frustration and what's going on, and it has to do with you can't watch CNN and MSNBC. They cannot see anything good out of this administration. And I see your last caller's frustration. It's just so that's keeping people divided. And we always talk about the crazy left, but it's true. But also, we have a crazy right, and those are the people who can look and not see anything wrong. And those are people like you, Chris. And it's really frustrating. And you can laugh it off all you want, but you got people that really take this serious. I don't know if you really listen sometimes to how much you're just rubbing Donald Trump's ego every time you speak, but you don't have anything critical to say to the Republicans, man. And I think it's starting to be obvious that you're just one of them news stations.
What do you need me to be critical about? What should I be critical about?
Well, I've had people call in talking about. I heard you and Chad Benson had like a 5-minute talk, and it's like just how you speak. As soon as someone brings up anything ICE related, it's like your lips already formed to protect what's going on instead of having any kind of critical thought. And that's your job. You're not supposed to be the government's friend. You're supposed to be critical. And you're so strung out on the radical left and, they're dangerous and blah, blah, blah. But you ain't got no words for the right. What can the right do to be better? And that's never going to be the case with you. That's never going to be the case.
What do you want me to say?
We're only getting one side. We're only getting one side from you too, bro.
But with the conversation that I had with Chad yesterday, and I was defending the ICE agents' actions against Alex Pretti because I thought he was a leftist. I thought he was a leftist lunatic. And then after I get off the air with Chad, who, by the way, I enjoy Chad quite a bit, and like there was no ill will towards us. We can just talk.
No, no ill will.
Totally
No
fine.
ill will towards you, except what you tell thousands of people every day.
But here's the thing. Okay, can I talk for a second? I mean, I let you go off. I let you say all the mean things you want to say about me. Like you got it out of your system. You're feeling better. That's great.
I said some really mean stuff.
Yeah,
I'm going to be a crazy leftist in 30 minutes.
Okay. But after I get off the air with that conversation with Chad, then we get the video of Alex Pretti that was released by the BBC that shows that he is hawking loogies. He's kicking taillights off of ICE agent vehicles. Everything I suspected of him was proven correct. He was a radical leftist. He was a member of the ICE Watch.
So kill him.
No. That's not what I want. I don't want anybody to die. But when you're out there and you put yourself in the middle.
Do you believe what Kyle Rittenhouse did was right? You're a fan of him?
Kyle,
you took up for him.
But the difference is
an AR to a protest.
But the difference is but there's a key difference. There is
exactly
because
he's
Kyle.
Right and no. I know the difference.
No,
go ahead.
So you keep interrupting me. The difference is Kyle Rittenhouse went to Kenosha, Wisconsin, to defend private property. It was his family's business that he didn't want burned down. He wasn't going. He wasn't going out to impede and obstruct federal officials that were in the middle of the streets. And Kyle Rittenhouse Kyle Rittenhouse also had a med kit with him, and he was offering aid to anyone that was injured, left or right.
Well, the way I see it, if this was a right wing, if the thing was issued, y'all would be commended the man for taking up for women. The police were being brutal as hell with old women. And the dude got killed. He don't get to live anymore because of some irate ICE decision.
No. That's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. That's where Mike. You can keep yelling. You can keep yelling. He's not alive today. Alex Pretti is not alive today because of the decisions Alex Pretti made.
Mm-hmm. No, because of the decisions an ICE officer made.
No.
He was practicing his constitutional right. He wasn't getting arrested. The women who were trying to help and protect wasn't getting arrested. He didn't get arrested for spitting on them, but then he got killed. So you're real biased, man. And I'm a Republican. I'm on the right. I'm conservative, but I'm just seeing like similarities between.
But you've called in before, and I think
I use different names because y'all blocked other phone numbers and stuff. But I call in a lot.
We don't block anybody for the record, and if you disagree with me, you go to the front of the line. By the way, just so you know, but no.
I know. I think it just keeps your viewers on, but I really, you don't have any bias, man. You're not a real. You don't report both sides, man. You ain't got nothing negative to say about the Republicans.
I do. I have a conservative bias. You are absolutely correct. I have a conservative bias.
App on you. You know how many times you said crazy left yesterday? You know how many times?
How many?
Too many. Your propaganda. You want a civil war too. You make the left our enemy instead of our government.
I just look at what's happening. I just look at what's happening, and I tell you what's happening. You have an attorney general. You have a Democrat candidate running for attorney general on the campaign promise of killing Donald Trump. You have a DA. You have a DA in Philadelphia. You have a DA. Am I allowed to talk on my own show? You have a DA in Philadelphia, Larry Krasner, who said he's going to go charge ICE agents that they're Nazis in the Gestapo. You have Democrat state legislatures saying we're going to file legislation so that way ICE agents are never allowed to get a job in this state. And then you want me to criticize those guys who are going out there and putting their lives on the line every single day because there was a mandate for 30 million plus deportations? I got news for you. That's victory. 30 million deportations is what we need. We need to ramp up efforts. We can't be backing down or slowing down. We need more. What is it? What did he say? We don't like what? And then he hung up? Did he say we don't like Jews?
I have no idea what he just said.
All right. Well, he can call back. I'm not even angry with him. I think, and we've had him on before. He says he's a conservative. He says a Republican. I think he's one of the black pill doomer conservatives and Republicans. Yeah, I'm going to defend ICE, just so everybody knows. Let's talk with Stacy in Mount Pleasant. What's up, Stacy? How are you?
Hey, Chris. Are you there?
Yes. What's going on?
I'm with you. I suspect the previous caller was a rhino. I don't know. I'm sorry the guy got shot. I just do not, for the life of me, understand why some of these younger people, and I say that because I'm almost 60, but I do not understand why they think they have a right to insert themselves into a law enforcement activity. I was always taught, no, you stay out of that stuff. You respect authority. You know, if I get pulled over, I still, which isn't often for the record.
But this is,
I mean, my hands go on the steering wheel. I mean,
but this is and I've had those conversations with my daughter. I've been pulled over for speeding. I'm like, great, time for a learning opportunity. Like, here's what we do when we get pulled over by police. But nobody has an issue with Alex Pretti's First Amendment. Nobody has an issue with the Second Amendment. The issue is when he put himself in the middle of law enforcement officers and the people that they were dealing with at that time, and he didn't need to do that.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, my husband and I are permit holders. And the thing is, if you're going to go to a peaceful protest, why would you take a gun?
Yeah, I mean, I get that to a certain extent, but I also I'm pro 2A. I don't really care that he had the gun there. But I get where you're coming from.
And I'm pro Second Amendment too. Don't get me wrong. But when they're in a situation that we have police officers, they're already paranoid. And they've been attacked before by these crazy people out there. Don't put yourself in a situation to make them feel like they have to defend themselves.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. Hey, Stacey, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Let's go to Sharon in the borough. What's up, Sharon?
Hey, Chris.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. What's up?
So, yeah, I think the guy I was listening to your caller, not just the lady just now, but the guy before. Yeah, he sounds pretty leftist to me and pretty upset too. With really, I think he just has some misinformation he's believing, which is what a lot of this problems with these leftists are. I mean, they listen to the wrong people, and it gets them all wound up and upset. But that's what the leftists want. That's what the Democrats love, that, which is Democrats, meaning the mainstream media, the politicians. They've been ginning this up since Obama started. He started ginning stuff up.
If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they've been ginning stuff up for years, and it's getting worse and worse instead of better because, I mean, look, what was Summer of Love? They even had people out there that didn't even live in this country. There were foreigners out there. I know that's a fact. Anyway, but what I was calling about is that, the guy was Pretti, is that it?
Yep, Alex Pretti.
Alex. Yeah. The thing is, if he hadn't gone there, he would have been still alive.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not even like if he hadn't gone there. It's just had he not put himself in between an agent pepper spraying leftist agitators, then none of it would have happened. Had he stayed off to the side, he could have held his sign, he could have protested, he could have done it with his gun on his hip, and nothing would have happened to him. But he has a pattern of this behavior. And when we saw it with the video that the BBC dropped yesterday, where he's hawking loogies at federal agents and he's kicking taillights off their cars. How are you going to come up and defend this guy? Like I can't. I said that, and that's to say, and I just want to say that doesn't mean I think he needed to be killed, but I'm not going to defend him against ICE agents.
Right. Well, the left either doesn't see those videos or they defend those videos thinking, well, it's okay for them to do that. But isn't it a felony to interfere with law enforcement?
Yep.
So these are felonies these people are committing when they interfere with the law enforcement, whether they're running over law enforcement, that includes ICE, whether they're spitting on them, trying to stop them, whatever they're doing, it's a felony. And this needs to be said more often because I think people don't realize that it really is against the law to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and luckily we saw, and I appreciate the call, Sharon. Luckily we saw the DOJ yesterday start bringing some charges against these agitators. Shout out to Bananas and Rice Girl. She has been arrested. But we need to see more arrests. 615-737-9986. Brian on the road. What's up, Brian? You're next on Super Talk.
What's up, man? Well, first off, I want to say to that lady that called and said that the police officers are paranoid already. They're not. They're not paranoid. They're trained professionals. They know what they're doing. They know that they could die at any moment. They're out there to protect people. They're not out there. I guarantee. I mean,
paranoid might have been the wrong choice of words, but you can understand that they're all looking over their shoulder.
Well, it was. I mean, I come from law enforcement family. I know exactly what she's talking about. But they're not paranoid. That's a mental health thing that goes on sometimes when you think people are after you. I mean, they get up every morning. People are nowadays. They're after.
They're there when they're going to sleep in the hotels. They're playing trombones and acting reckless.
Can you imagine going home and they know where you live? I mean, how do you sleep knowing somebody might be a nutcase? And then to the guy that called in that lost his mind, I mean, he needs to. He's not. I mean, I'm not a Republican. But he said he's a Republican and a conservative, and if you carry the company line for the Republicans, that's not true. He must not be listening to you too closely.
Yeah, I don't know. He's had some issues with me in the past. He's big on the Candace Owens stuff and thinking that Egyptian Airlines are flying around, and that's how Charlie died. And he was mad at me for that. He's been mad at me for a few things. I don't necessarily think that he is a leftist. A lot of the audience will tell you that guy's a leftist, and I see all the text messages. I think he is a black-pilled conservative, like a doomer. Like nothing is going to be fixed, nothing good is going to happen. Burn it all down, and I don't subscribe to that kind of.
I don't either. I think you've described him perfectly. He leans that way. Sometimes you lean that way just to keep yourself in the middle, but it doesn't look good when you say that. You're not arguing 100% for one side. You're arguing for right and wrong, and you need to keep doing that.
Hey, I appreciate you, Brian. Thank you for calling in. Let's go to Eddie on the road. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Man, you know something? I wish somebody would sit down and have a civilized conversation with these leftos. Where is the rage and their concern for the Americans that's been brutally killed by these illegal immigrants?
Amen.
Come in.
I mean, Greg Gutfeld last night on the 5, he was going at it with Tarlov again, and he's like, I have 3 pages right here of women that have been murdered by illegal aliens in the United States, and there's no tears shed, there's no protests, there was no riots, nobody burned down a Wendy's for Lake and Riley or Jocelyn Nungary. There's none of that. Sir. And I'm with you. I wish they would keep that same energy.
They're the definition of hypocrites. How do you pick somebody you're attacking our officers that's out there putting their life on the line to get rid of people to try and protect not just the right wing, they're protecting the left wing people as well.
Yes. Honestly, a child rapist doesn't care if your kid is a Democrat or a Republican. Do you know what I mean? It's
just this one, I can't remember his name, that got put out and then brought back, and the money that's been spent in the courts and stuff for this, what was it, Vermont? What do they call him? Massachusetts man?
Maryland
or whatever
man.
it was.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Yeah, he was human trafficking through Tennessee.
Hey, you know what? These people, if you brutally murder a woman, hurt a child in any way, you should lose any rights you have to be treated as a human.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If they don't want to go back to a public execution to make examples, stick them all in a cage. Don't worry about overcrowding and let the chips fall where they may.
I'm with you, Eddie, and I would be a huge fan of public executions for some of these guys, especially those child predators. 100%. That would be a heck of a deterrent. Appreciate all the calls. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. We got a lot more to get to. We didn't even get to Fulton County, Georgia. We'll do that after this, which we're going to stop down now. We'll get the news in, and we'll do all the things, and then we'll talk about Fulton County and what the FBI was doing there last night right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And drivers, I'm checking for some crashes. We do have one. Going to get in the way there at Briley Parkway at I-24 South. I'm also checking on the power outages out there. Right now, NES says it still has 90,789 customers without service. Middle Tennessee Electric only has 59 customers without electricity. Columbia Electric, or rather Cumberland Electric membership cooperation, or rather corporation there, showing 2,112 outages. Looks like Dixon may have a couple of thousand left to go, maybe less. Very few right now for Duck River. And it looks like the same goes for Columbia Power and Water Services, below 100 outages. So progress being made out there in areas, but still NES is the major trouble spot with at least 90,000 still in the cold. And temperatures aren't getting better. In fact, we've got another Arctic blast headed this way starting tomorrow over the weekend. A lot of people have been asking, how long do we have to keep the faucets dripping? Well, according to News Channel 2, experts say keep them dripping, because if you don't, you're going to have freezing pipes on top of whatever other problems you have. A downed tree in Old Hickory still sitting on power lines and a home, slowing restoration efforts for the entire neighborhood. News Channel 5 says because the tree is on private property, ENS can't begin repairs until the owner of that property arranges its removal. Councilmember Jeff Eslick says the delay is unacceptable. He's urging the mayor's office to step in. And a semi-truck driver from Mississippi was killed in a crash on I-40 in Wilson County last night. Troopers say the truck ran off the westbound lanes near mile marker 248, crossed the median and all eastbound lanes, then plowed through a tree line. The vehicle hit several trees before stopping on Bluebird Road, where the driver, 61-year-old Joseph Blackburn, was pronounced dead at the scene. Bluebird Road was closed indefinitely. And right now in New York, police are investigating an incident where a car rammed into a synagogue multiple times. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The car crashed into a side entrance to a Brooklyn synagogue, then backed up and did it again, and then again, and again. Chabad World headquarters was packed with people at the time. The door came off the hinges, but there were no injuries.
We'll keep an eye on that story. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on all the social media platforms that matter. Twitter, Instagram, True Social, TikTok occasionally, YouTube also occasionally, at Chris Hand on air. The places where I send the inappropriate memes, the ones that go directly to the DMs, that would be Instagram and Twitter. So if you're a fan of inappropriate memes, hit the follow button and I'll get you on the meme list. I should make a whole meme list. But I feel like then I would have to tier it out.
That's fair.
Because there are some people that can really take the offensive memes.
Just a little bit.
And then there are people like Mason who say, please stop sending this to me.
Chris, it's 3 a.m. I'm trying to sleep.
I sent Mason a heck of a meme last night.
Dude, it was a good one.
I sent it to everybody. I grabbed it for the lightning round.
Good.
It's
so funny.
We'll talk about that. In the meantime, I want to talk about Fulton County, Georgia. What's going on in Fulton County? When the Maduro operation happened, there was a lot of people talking about Venezuela and the 2020 election. I didn't pay much mind to it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't give it too much credence. I don't know if they ran the Dominion voting machines, the Smartmatic or whatever. I can't even recall which one it was, but one of them ran through Venezuela and they changed all the vote totals. I don't know if that happened. I don't know if it didn't happen. It might have. What I do know is that the president does believe the 2020 election was stolen. And what I can also tell you is that I believe the 2020 election was stolen. I don't think anything is going to come of it. I don't. Or at least I didn't. Yesterday, the FBI raided Fulton County, and they got themselves some ballots. This is a very wild development. The FBI raided a Fulton County, Georgia election office as part of an investigation into 2020 election fraud. They are seizing items and investigating documents, phones, and computers. Now, part of me wonders what you'll be able to find 6 years after a crime. I don't know if they'll be able to find anything. And I would be hard-pressed to think that the people that stole the 2020 election would leave evidence lying around. But that didn't stop them from executing a raid yesterday. When it broke, this is how it sounded on Fox News.
Agents are on site at a Fulton County election office in Georgia, where they are conducting a search. David Spunt's got more details for us on this developing story. David?
Hi, Sandra. This is a satellite office for the Fulton County Elections Office. The FBI Atlanta press office confirming this, not giving many details, saying that the FBI is executing a court-authorized law enforcement action. No other details at this time, but we do know via sources a judge signed off on this warrant, allowing these agents, as you see them, enter this building to take items from the inside. Now, we're told that this is a sealed matter before the court, meaning details are now limited. Now, agents are looking at documents, phones, computers. We are told via multiple sources this is related to the 2020 presidential election.
So they raided a Fulton County, Georgia election office. They started grabbing computers and they started grabbing ballots. Quite the development. Even more interesting is, do you know who was on scene at the raid? Well, that was our Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
Spent most of the afternoon inside the records warehouse for the Fulton County, Georgia Board of Elections. The matter is sealed before a court meeting. Details are limited, but we can report, as you mentioned, this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Sources tell Fox that agents retrieved documents, phones, computers, ballot boxes after a judge signed a warrant. President Trump has long made Georgia and Fulton County a target of his complaints regarding the 2020 election.
It was kind of disbelief. It's been a long time in coming, I think, and getting a lot of the answers that need to be given.
This is an order from on high to try to disrupt Fulton County's election administration just because Donald Trump is still mad that he lost the 2020 elections.
Shortly after the election, Trump spoke to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and told him to find 11,780 more votes to win the state. At the time, Raffensperger said he felt pressure from Trump. He still says so. He's denied any widespread election fraud. Fulton County DA Fani Willis brought state criminal charges against then former President Trump and others in 2023 for an alleged conspiracy to overturn the election. But her prosecution was famously derailed completely after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top top prosecutor on her team. Interesting to note, Dana and Bill, that Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, was on scene yesterday with no official explanation why for her exact role in the probe. Back in December, the DOJ sued Fulton County, Georgia, seeking access to 2020 voting records after state officials allegedly failed to respond to a subpoena. Fox News has learned the FBI's Atlanta field office head was forced out in recent days, but it's unclear if this is all related, but certainly a story we're watching.
I mean, it is a crazy story, and I am very excited to see what comes out of it. It would be absolute poetry if they could prove that the election was stolen in Fulton County, Georgia. It would be unbelievable. It would be the story of the century. And how poetic would it be for those losers, the Raffenspergers, the Fannie Willises, the Democrat operatives that have just been pushing this narrative that Donald Trump is crazy and that the 2020 election was on the up and up. Nobody truly believes that. I don't know where this is going to go, but I can tell you this. Democrats seem a little bit shook. They do. We had a Fulton County, Georgia, Democrat commissioner by the name of Mo Ivory respond to the FBI raiding that office. They have taken custody of 700 2020 election ballot boxes as part of this fraud investigation. And the Democrats, they sound nervous. This is Fulton County, Georgia, Democrat Commissioner Mo Ivory.
Hey everybody, so here's an update. We're at the elections hub right here off of Fairburn Road, and they did correct the warrant, and they are now in there getting the documents. 700 boxes of 2020 ballots and accompanying things that go with it. You know, absentee ballots, all the things, right? So our clerk of Superior Court, Shay Alexander, is in there making a log of everything that they're taking, but this is like all wrong. So we're trying to figure out a legal plan, and we should have one, whether that's an injunction, whether a motion to quash, I mean, whatever it is, we're trying to figure it out right now, because this is an attack on our elections, meant to keep you from trying to go to the polls in November, being too afraid to change what's going on in our nation. So instead of worrying about people dying in Minnesota, here we are at the Fulton County Elections Hub. So let me go find out what the legal plan is.
Wait. So this is just a plan to scare people away from voting? Wouldn't this make people more confident in voting if they knew that their votes mattered and that fraud isn't going to be tolerated and that your vote counts in Fulton County, Georgia? Don't you think? Don't forget that they arrested and gave Donald Trump a mugshot for asking questions about voter fraud. Don't forget that they wanted you to ignore that the voting location in Fulton, Georgia was closed at 10:30 p.m. because of a water main break. Let's not forget that. And let's not forget, after they closed it at 10:30 over that water main break, we had videos. Do you remember the videos? I remember the videos where they were pulling the ballots out from underneath the tables. They were in the Tupperware boxes, right? You remember that?
8:00 in the morning.
And you had all of these individuals pulling ballots out and running them through the machine. We weren't allowed to ask those questions. You were an election denier, a conspiracy theorist, and now we might get some answers to these questions. This is fascinating, man. I'm very, very interested to see what happens here. I don't know if anything will come of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit too black-pilled because of how I've seen a lack of accountability in so many areas when it comes to Democrats and fraud. But President Trump, he posted this on True Social. He posted that the FBI left with 700 2020 election ballot boxes in Fulton County, Georgia. The local Atlanta Fox affiliate was reporting on this as well. This is their call of the game last night on local news, Fox 5 in Atlanta.
At the election facility. Roll this back and show it to you.
Hang on one second. I got too much audio.
So now they're going to start.
Our photographer was able to go inside. He was let inside and allowed to be up and close. As you can see, this is interesting because one of the questions we did ask Larry was if agents were restricting his access or asking him to back up at all. And he said that so far they've been allowing reporters to get up close to the situation.
Outside if you want to take
Okay, so now agents are asking them to back up.
Actually,
You shouldn't even be in this area, but hey, you know what? I don't have a key, so.
So you had local affiliates on the ground. The FBI was letting them in the building. They're like, maybe you should back up. Maybe you should take off. 720 election ballot boxes have been seized, taken into custody by the FBI. We're going to be following this story. I know the Fulton County, Georgia election officials had a press conference a little while ago. I'm trying to gather some audio on that because this is one of the biggest stories of the day. But it might get lost in the shuffle. I mean, this is how the news has been working in the Trump administration 2.0. There is so much going on constantly that it's hard to keep up. It truly is. I mean, we might have a government shutdown in a couple days. We might be going to war with Iran. Minnesota is completely upside down. The fraud in this country is through the roof. And we also have a cabinet meeting going on with President Trump, first cabinet meeting of 2026 at the exact same time. Tom Homan giving press conferences in Minnesota this morning. It never ends with the Trump administration 2.0. And I'm here for it. I'm excited. President Trump earlier this morning, about 30 minutes ago, was kicking off his first cabinet meeting of 2026, and he had some things to say about Venezuela. We'll keep visiting this 2020 election ballot story because it is a big one, but as of right now, there's no information on it. We're just waiting for the details as you are. So we'll move forward. We'll bring you some of the audio from this cabinet meeting with Donald Trump that took place again. This is about 30 minutes or so ago. He had a message about Venezuela.
Venezuela informed her that we're going to be opening up all commercial airspace over Venezuela. American citizens will be very shortly able to go to Venezuela, and they'll be safe there. They'll be safe. It's under very strong control. And the people of formerly of Venezuela, some want to go back and some want to go back to visit, and they're going to be able to do that. So I've instructed Sean Duffy and everybody else concerned, including the military, that if you would, by the end of today, I'd like you to have the airspace over Venezuela. Planes can go to Venezuela opened up. Okay?
Yes. Big news coming out of the cabinet meeting. The airspace over Venezuela is going to be opened up. I mean, you understand that is going to absolutely overjoy some Venezuelans. We, in the aftermath of the Maduro operation, we played a lot of Venezuelans here in America that were saying, man, it's time to go back, and they were overjoyed. Well, now that door is opening. President Trump also touting the success of his economy while he was in this cabinet meeting about 30 minutes ago.
And just as I promised, we've defeated the Biden inflation nightmare and achieved explosive new economic growth. The Atlanta Fed is predicting an astounding 5.4% GDP growth in the fourth quarter.
Which is insane. They said that this would never happen. They told you that Trump would crash the economy, that there would be no survivors, that the tariffs would ruin everything, that all of these negotiations taking place are all for naught, and Donald Trump is going to chicken out. Yet here we are with a booming economy. Have you noticed that the Democrats have stopped talking about the economy? Has anybody else been keeping score at home? This was a huge talking point just, 3 weeks ago? Yet it's fallen off the radar. Why is that? Is it because the economy is no longer a beneficial talking point for the leftists?
And that's despite the fact that we had a Democrat shutdown. We would have had, that number would have been 7%, which is a number nobody's ever heard of. And we've been given great national security because of tariffs, and we've also been given unprecedented income because of tariffs.
That's going to lead to a stimmy check for you, most likely before midterms. They're still ironing out the details on that. But yeah, the Democrats, they don't seem to be interested in talking about the economy anymore. Isn't that weird? They are interested in shutting down the government again, which would hurt the economy. Maybe they'll start talking about it then. They want to shut down the government over DHS and ICE funding. Fun fact, it's already fully funded for years because of the big, beautiful bill. I believe it's through 2029. So all of those conversations are going to be for naught. I still probably think we'll get a government shutdown. I don't see them coming to terms, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Trump, he echoed kind of the same sentiment that we're echoing when he talked about how the Democrats are running away from the affordability talking point. And you can't blame them for running away from it. It is a dying talking point.
Are coming down very fast, and you don't hear the word affordability issued by the Democrats anymore. Now they're going into other things because they're getting beaten badly on affordability. Remember that when I was elected, I came into office, I inherited a total mess, starting with eggs, which were 4 times higher than they were just a year before. And Brooke got them down very quickly before Easter. They said they wanted me to buy plastic eggs for the egg hunt, at the very famous egg hunt at the White House. Sir, would you buy plastic eggs? I would buy a lot, like 100,000 eggs. I said, we're not going to buy plastic eggs.
Said, I'm not a
And by
commie.
the time we had the egg hunt, a few months later, we had the prices down pretty good. And now they're really low. Now they're at a very low level. So we really have, you don't hear the word affordability because we inherited very high prices and we inherited the highest inflation in 48 years. I say the history of our country. I think it sounds almost the same. Actually, I think 48 years sounds actually worse for some reason. So I'll go with the 40 because the press corrected me. I said history and they said, it's not history, it's 48 years. I said, I'll accept that. And we had the highest inflation in 48 years. We have now as you saw yesterday with the Fed, I'm not a fan of his. He said that inflation essentially is not a factor. It's really been pretty amazing. I just put out a statement about his statements. I won't repeat them here because they're too angry. And thanks to our tax cuts, millions of Americans will soon receive
a huge tax return. That's the word on the street. President Trump saying the Democrats ran away from affordability. He's got the room cracking up, eating out of the palm of his hand. But the president is right. And the Democrats have nothing to campaign on. They got a lot of energy. Their base is really motivated. But if we keep on this course, I have a hard time envisioning independents and moderates fleeing for what they see happening across the country with Democrat-run places. I mean, look no further than the state of Virginia. If you want to know what happens when moderate Democrats get into power. I mean, Virginia voters are having a bit of buyer's remorse after all the new taxes that are coming on their citizens because of, again, that moderate governor, Abigail Spanberger. I'll play you the clip. They're not happy over there. But you don't want buyer's remorse. Midterms are on the way. It's going to be a whole team effort to make sure that we keep the House, keep the Senate, and don't have a lame duck presidency for the last 2 years. But I think it's doable. And if things continue on this trajectory, I think we could see a huge win in November. I pray we do. Lord knows we can't afford to let the Democrats kneecap the president. It's 11:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you're dealing with back pain, neck pain, sciatica, herniated or bulging disc, knee pain, numbness in your arms or legs, you should have called the Wellness Institute of Nashville last week, but we're not going to hold it against you. Call them today. Dr. Mitchell and his team are the first and only office in Tennessee with a brand new device called the HydroWave. This thing is going to stimulate stem cells for real cellular healing. No surgery, no needles, no opioids. You pair that with their non-surgical spinal and knee decompression. This is as advanced as it gets. These guys are using anti-gravity machines, robotic lasers, and they'll actually take the time to review your MRI, explain it, and come up with a plan on how to fix it. They're the best. And if you mention the Chris Hand Show, you can get 47% off that non-surgical spinal decompression today. Give them a call, 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. A pain-free life is within reach for you. Just hit the website, painisbad.com.
Well, the death toll from the winter storm keeps climbing in Tennessee. There is also an issue in an Old Hickory neighborhood being caused by one single fallen tree. And then there's an issue of people in apartments who are coming home to find water pouring from the ceiling. We're going to tell you about all that and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Sorry, I'm just correcting the record on the text line. One of our liberal friends, Jeremiah, I had to. He's been responding to me all morning. I said in the 9 o'clock hour, I said George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. I said that the agitators are paid, and then I said that the election was stolen. And I just had to respond. He said George Floyd got choked for 9 minutes. That's how he died. I checked the toxicology report. I can't breathe. He was overdosing on fentanyl. He said you also brought up how these are paid agitators with no evidence. Except there is evidence. I talked to my friend Jonathan Cho. He's in the weeds on this stuff. He's been talking to the White House. The White House is investigating who is paying these agitators. Omar married her brother. Again, no evidence. I mean, unless you dig into the marriage certificates and all the investigative journalism done by the Daily Mail that she did in fact marry her brother to get him into college. The election wasn't stolen. You're right. It was just a water main break, and they pulled ballots out from under the table. That was no big deal.
Obviously.
No big deal. I'm here for it. Democrats, if you didn't steal the 2020 election, you'd be a year post-Trump by now. But instead, you got 3 to go. Oh, the irony is delicious. Hey, on the way, we got the lightning round. Really excited about it. We got some good stuff lined up for you. Plus, we'll talk a little bit more about what were we going to talk about? Oh, I had something that I wanted to get to that I didn't have a chance. Oh, Bruce Springsteen. Did you see Bruce Springsteen? He's got a new song out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the government shutdown and more. Hang out with us. It's 11:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes, and it's not good. Still going to be cold. We're going to get above freezing today, but we got another Arctic blast coming. Tell you more about it in 5 minutes. Still at least 90,000 Nashville Electric customers without power. The other area of Middle Tennessee with the most outages is the Cumberland Electric Membership Co-op. That's at 2,100. Tennessee officials now report 13 weather-related deaths from the weekend winter storm. Department of Health says the largest numbers in Davidson County, where 3 people have died, 2 people in Cheatham County. An Old Hickory neighborhood still in the dark because of one large fallen tree still resting on power lines. And NES says they can't touch the lines until the homeowner removes the tree from their private property. News Channel 5 says Councilmember Jeff Eslick's pushing city leaders to intervene to speed up the process.
I think there's 15 lines up there right now. I'm getting calls, emails, messages. Everybody wants their house done now.
News Channel 5 says they reached out to the Davidson County Register of Deeds to get in touch with the property owner and hear their plans regarding that tree. Meanwhile, people are coming home to their apartment to find water pouring from the ceiling. Happened at the Bellevue West Apartments just off Old Hickory Boulevard last night. Channel 4 spoke to a resident who says he arrived home from his job, which happens to be with the tree service, to find his apartment soaking wet from water leaking from the ceiling.
We've been out doing storm work, trying to help these people out, get power and get roads clear, doing 12, 16-hour shifts. You come home to this and I can't get a hold of nobody. Come out here and turn this off.
You can hear the water dripping from the ceiling there in the background of his apartment. Residents had to leave those apartments last night. More and more warming shelters and resources coming available. To request a ride to a warming shelter in Nashville, that phone number is 615-401-1712. You can also check the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, or TEMA, website for a map of warming shelters across the state. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults. Before I tell you about Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults, right before we got out of the news, I was reminded what I wanted to talk about. And I chimed into Mason's ear and I said, Squirtgate! I need to talk about Squirtgate.
Weirdest audio jump scare I've had today.
Squirtgate. I'm not a fan of calling things gate, except for this one, because it's hilarious. Talking about Ilhan Omar. We'll talk about that next. In the meantime, Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. This guy is a fantastic dad. He's an awesome husband, and he runs a great business in Shelbyville. If you are stacking precious metals, gold, silver, prices keep climbing. A lot of people are stacking this stuff. I got a question for you. Where are you putting the precious metals? Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville carries real safes, including UL-rated and TL and TR safes, tested and certified to resist tool and torch attacks. That's the kind of protection that you want for firearms, cash, jewelry, precious metals, not a thin box from a big store. Aaron Parker runs the business. I was telling you about him. He does it the old-fashioned way. Veteran-owned, Christian family business. They've been doing it since 2009. They answer their phones. They show up on time. They only sell products that they would trust in their own home. This is a key difference. This is why I really like these guys. They deliver and service Nashville and the surrounding areas. They're located in Shelbyville, but that's not a different country. They can bring it to your home wherever you are in Middle Tennessee. If you can hear this radio broadcast, they can deliver a safe to you. Give them a call today, 931-842-6445, or check out the inventory and reviews on their YouTube page. Search for Parker Safes on YouTube or go to parkersafes.com. It's 11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, you get those at betterwater.com. Really excited for the lightning round today. We got a lot of stuff to get to. I don't think we're going to be able to get to all of it. I don't think there's any possible way. So I'm not going to delay any longer. We're just going to start the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
You having a little trouble over there with the music, buddy?
Just a little bit. I may have grabbed the wrong music slider there.
I said we're not going to waste any more time. And then Mason just It's just
The
this
look up of
awkward
panic
delay.
that I gave you.
This awkward delay. That's
like,
all right.
wait.
I'm here for it. Let's talk about Squirtgate, shall we? I'm not a fan of calling things gate. You know, it comes after the Watergate Hotel and then Nixon and like everything gets a gate.
Gate?
Gate? But this is actually funny. So I'll call it Squirtgate. You notice how she like hugged all those people right at the end of getting squirted with that mystery substance?
Yeah, she had to spread it around so she wasn't the only victim.
Yeah, nice. Do you have any idea who she's blaming over Squirtgate today?
Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, I bet you could guess.
I have a sneaking suspicion that it's probably our commander-in-chief.
That I wouldn't be where I am at today, having to pay for security, having the government to think about providing me security if Donald Trump wasn't in office and if he wasn't so obsessed with me.
Oh.
It is ironic that just last night he was on stage moments before I was attacked, talking about me. And then when asked about my attack, he said, I don't think about her. Does he not remember? Is he suffering from dementia?
Which one is she? Is she the one with the little shing? Is that her? Is that her? No, I don't think about her at all. He said it was probably faked, and everybody thinks it was probably faked. It was weird. It was apple cider vinegar. If you're keeping score at home, I don't know why they chose apple cider vinegar. Maybe that's the only thing her leftist friend had in the fridge.
I hear it helps with indigestion,
upset stomach, diarrhea. Maybe
dealing with hard things to swallow.
Maybe. She says that President Trump is terrorizing her because of Squirtgate. This is it's terrible. I feel for Ilhan here. She's going through a lot.
Not only is the federal occupation hurting businesses, the president's reprehensible rhetoric has led right-wing grifters to show up here to terrorize our community.
Except, I mean, nobody's terrorizing the community, right? Like, no, the people that are terrorizing the community are the left-wing agitators. The right-wing grifters, you know, investigative journalists, as we like to call them. There used to be a lot more plentiful here in the United States of America, but these days it's just young, brave kids that are doing it. They didn't terrorize anybody. They just knocked on a door. Hello, is this business receiving millions of dollars from the government located here? Ah, terrorists! Got it. Ilhan Omar. Yesterday she was in a Somali neighborhood. In a Minneapolis neighborhood, which obviously Somali neighborhood, and she had a candle. She lit a candle for Alex Pretti. Got it. That's Squirtgate. That's Squirtgate in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's Donald Trump's fault. We had nothing to do with it. We didn't set it up on our own. I swear, says Ilhan Omar. Abby Phillips was very upset that Ilhan Omar got squirted on. And she immediately knew who was to blame, and it's the rhetoric from Donald Trump, which is funny because when Trump was assassinated, when he faced the assassination attempt, she didn't blame the rhetoric. Here, let's listen to how she describes Squirtgate.
Ilhan Omar, in particular, has been the center, and you heard it there from the president, the center of a lot of awful attacks. He called her garbage. Donald Trump is actually responsible for the vitriol. So is there going to be any acknowledgement of that? Should there be?
Donald Trump is responsible for this. He called her garbage. Don't they call him a Nazi, a dictator, a tyrant? Well, so when he almost has the back of his head blown off, Abby Phillips would probably point the finger at the Democrats and say, aren't you guys responsible for that?
It's not about the politics of the individual. I mean, look at these people. The thing that they have in common is their complete lack of mental stability. Why is that not the conversation? Why are we in this place of who's to blame? Is it the Democrats or the Republicans? The Republicans aren't trying to assassinate the Democrats. And a lot of talk of they. And then when it's not a they, it's just a person. It's an individual.
Oh, got it. Different circumstances. Got it. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one, this is what we do. So we, me and Mason, when we're having time off, we share a lot of memes. You know, this is like one of our favorite things to do.
It's a nice little pastime.
And a lot of times, if you follow me on Instagram, I'll put you on my meme list. But we find some gems, and we like to share them with each other. And I found this one. It has nothing to do with news, but that's the best part about it. This is from Instagram. Who was the comedian? Do you remember who the comedian was? I want to give
goodness, let me look back at it.
I want to give him credit. It was hold on. It was Ben something. Oh, Joe Nunnick. I was completely wrong. I was way off. I want to give him credit. Let me start by using a fake name. It was comedian Joe Nunnick. And this Instagram reel we saw, he shows up in a park via a blue orb, and he's a time traveler. And this is what we do in our free time. I thought this was hilarious.
Oh, what the dude? Where did you just come from? I'm a time traveler, okay? Be cool. I just got back from the past. I went back and I killed that son of a bitch, Hans Sprechter, right in his crib.
Hans Sprechter?
Yeah. Oh, right, you don't know. Because I killed him. That makes sense. Hans Sprechter was an infamous German dictator in the 1940s. He killed, brace yourself, over 500 Jews.
Oh, no.
You're in shock.
Well,
I know what you're thinking. How could anybody have done such a mindless atrocity? I've asked myself that many times.
No, okay, so there was this guy, right? Different guy.
Don't tell me that somebody stepped into the power vacuum I left behind by killing Hans Sprechter.
You've heard of Adolf Hitler?
Oh.
He's looking at the cell phone.
Oh,
That's
no,
my
no, no, no,
favorite
no,
one.
no, no, no.
Can you use the time machine again?
It was a one-use only time machine.
That seems short-sighted. You're responsible for this?
No. I just need to think. Fuck.
You just said that you...
500 seemed like a lot of Jews.
It's barely any!
Okay, well, everybody always said that if they had a time machine, the first thing they would do is go back and kill Hans Sprechter in its crib. So we finally got the technology.
It's a big time, dude.
No.
Whoa.
No. No, okay, you know what? I'm just a crazy guy in the park.
I don't think you are, though. I think you're time travel for real.
And then he runs away.
Oh, God, I guys got my phone.
This is what I do in my free time.
So good.
I was recording this last night, and my wife was like, "That's not work." I said, "Just you watch. This is work.
It's important.
This is work." All right, got another story for you here in the lightning round. All right,
I heard you commenting on it this morning. You can
a little slower than it needed to be. Bruce Springsteen has a new song out.
Sorry, I was preemptively striking for earlier.
Have you heard the new Bruce Springsteen song?
No, he doesn't pop up on my feed anymore.
It's more like Cringe-steen.
Oh, no.
You ready for this? It's called Streets of Minneapolis.
Oh, fun.
You ready? Does he swear in his music? Because I didn't proofread this. We'll find out together, shall we? King Trump. King Trump's private army from the DHS. Is he gonna sell? He's gonna sell some of these, isn't he? Like, people are gonna listen to this unironically, and they're gonna enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know.
Private army from the DHS, guns belted to their coats.
It's a lie. It's on the waistband.
Came to Minneapolis to enforce the law.
Well, that's at least there's some truth. There's some truth there. They're here to enforce the law. I hope it only counted as one stream for him.
I hope so. It shouldn't count as more.
Good. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. That song is awful. Just for let the record show. No, not doing it. Not doing it. Born in the USA was good. This one's not that good. Did he fall off, or was he ever on it? I don't know. I think this is what happens when you sell your soul to the devil for a great music career.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
All right. I got another story for you in the lightning round. How bad is the refugee problem in Sweden? It's so bad that they're offering refugees $37,000 to go home. What? $37,000 to go home. The offer reflects the radical transformation in the Scandinavian countries' once open attitude to newcomers. Saying, get the hell out. This article is from New Lines magazine. It said, over the years, my mother and I have developed a system for handling whatever political storm is blowing through Sweden. She calls me, often breathless, sometimes panicked, after seeing a news segment or reading a headline about a new proposal targeting immigrants. And I reassure her. I tell her it's only political theater, that it will never come to pass into law. Can you imagine your mom being like that, freaked out by the news that she would call you? Like, they're going to get the immigrants. Oh, no. Anyway. But we are immigrants with Swedish passports, with permanent resident rights long since secured. We are citizens in every legal and literal sense of the word, even though we were once Iraqi refugees. I tell my mother repeatedly that she has nothing to fear, but my words have no effect. When a proposal appeared on the news earlier this year, one that would allow authorities to revoke citizenship of immigrants under extraordinary conditions, I told her again, this will never pass a vote. It's illegal, and Sweden would never do this. But as the proposal went from headlines to gaining political momentum, I felt a different kind of fear set in. The measure was described as targeting only serious offenders, and it would require changing the Constitution. But once a state grants itself the power to unmake a citizen, the line can always be moved. So they're offering, this is like a heartfelt article where he's very sad because they're offering you $37,000 to go home. To go home. You know, Europe has absolutely committed suicide with the refugee policies that they have. And you can look at countries like Sweden, you could do Germany, we could do Ireland or the UK, you name it. Pick a country, point on the map. If it was once a white European country, they probably have a refugee problem. And Sweden now rightfully is going, okay, we have to do something or we're not going to remain Swedish any longer. And they say, here's an idea. We'll just pay them an exorbitant amount of money, and they'll go home. Maybe it'll work. It's a different kind of plan. I wonder how this is going to play out, and I wonder how many refugees are going to take the bait. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't expect many to do it. Would you want to leave Sweden to go live in Iraq for $37,000? Of course not. Nobody in their right mind would. But the government's between a rock and a hard place because they have all of these refugees coming in and refusing to assimilate in many of the same ways that we've seen across all European countries and we've seen here in America as well. And so they're taking a proactive step to try and grease the wheels of your speedy exit with $37,000. It's a heck of a plan. I don't know if it'll work. 11:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
WTN keeps you ahead of the curve. News, insight, and conversation like never before. Breaking election news, expert analysis, and live coverage you can trust. Stay informed. Box store. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock Store. I talk about these guys all the time because I have been shopping at the Glock Store for years. I've been training at the Glock Store for years. They're the best. And right now, if you need to get yourself a new Glock, why would you say you don't need a new Glock? When have you not needed a new Glock? You should go down to the Glock Store because they got the Gen 6 Glocks. These are the latest ones, the brand new ones, the most refined stock Glocks ever. They got the RTF6 texturing, the enlarged beaver tail, the flat face trigger, the trigger guard undercut, the integrated thumb rest, aka the gas pedal. The list goes on and on and on. And of course, the Glock Store got their hands on these first. But unfortunately, they're already gone. They're already gone because the Glock Store is letting you pre-order these bad boys. Here's what you do. Go down to the Glock Store, pick up one of the new Gen 6s, G17s, 19s, or 45s. If you like what you hold, see, shoot, place a pre-order. Tell them that you heard about it on the Chris Hand Show, and when you pick up your pre-ordered Gen 6 Glock, you're going to get a free extra magazine just for saying that you heard about it on the show. This is a limited time offer only from our friends at the Glock Store, so be one of the first to get your hands on that new Gen 6 Glock. Head down to the Glock Store today, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online, glockstore.com. This is the ode to bananas and rice.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American. It's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice.
Kind of.
To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali in America.
So I was doing this last night. I found this EDM song, and then I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked up banana-shaped glow sticks.
Did you find any?
I did not find any.
You probably found some other things.
I need them. It was a weird search.
Like, get that off my history.
Yeah, it's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand in studio with Chad Benson. Bananas and Rice Girl has been arrested. Your immediate reaction?
Well, first of all, I didn't know her hit was that big, and I'm glad that she
is a smash.
So who's that DJ who?
I don't know who
You
that
gotta come up
is.
with a cool name.
I don't know.
Because you did the bananas and rice, right?
Yeah, I got two versions of it.
But what's going to be your DJ name?
Chicken and dumplings.
That's a good one right there. Chicken and dumplings.
I just love it. It's just so good.
You're gonna get what I mean. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's an interesting thing. People don't really see, like, you know, it's like a cultural fusion. Being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. You're gonna get what I mean. It's kind of like the bananas and rice.
So she assaulted a federal agent.
With bananas and rice?
Allegedly.
Do you think it was bananas that she did that?
I mean, I think that we can only hope the banana would cause less harm. Stale rice in those temperatures.
What if in your eyes? Oh, because you got it. Yeah, don't do that.
It's
Goodness me, bananas and rice.
What are you talking about on the show today?
The fact that China and us have the same issue with our populations declining, and the fastest growing thing is
bananas and rice.
Young adults in China and here just adopting animals rather than kids. And the numbers are insane, though, when you talk about how much it costs for a kid up to 18 compared to if you were to have an animal. And the length, time obviously is not as long, but it's $300,000 more.
Well, but there's one key difference between America and China, right? Like if both countries just crumbled, we wouldn't eat the pets.
And they said that actually in one of the reports. It's like, well, this is a few years ago they changed, because I think dogs and cats used to be considered livestock.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've changed the rule
really
now.
weird.
So apparently they've changed that law.
Yeah, it's just pangolins now. No worries.
Pangolins and fruit bats.
All right, Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock. This is Super